Good day, divine ones. Good evening, Tina. How are you?
Good. How are you tonight, ML? It's been a
Excellent.
great day, but very productive.
Has it been a manic Monday for you?
Yes, a manic Monday and lots of birthday wishes because I wouldn't want to be anywhere else but here with you guys on my very special day.
Happy born day. Happy born day. I won't ask you how old you are because I know certain people are sensitive about that.
Yeah, maybe we should have people guess.
Well, yeah, that's actually a good idea. That's a great idea. What we could do is we could whoever gets closest to Tina's birthday, or if they get spot on, we'll send them a free box of PFT. I'll send a free box of PFT if by the end of the show, people can put in the comments section. You guys can guess what Tina's birthday is today, how old she is. If you get on it, now I have to put a caveat there. If we have several people that all guess the same number, then we'll have to pick the first one who guessed it, obviously. Because I don't want to have to, if we have 10 or 20 people guess it, that'd be a lot of PFT that I'd have to end up sending out. So the numbers are actually kind of coming in. So we'll collect those at the end of the show.
Yeah.
So
one of
how
my
are you
favorite
doing
jobs too, PFT.
Yeah.
Good. Yeah, it's been a great day. I just got off a corporate Zoom with Mary Esther Gilbert, and she actually was talking about exactly what we're talking about with all of her knowledge with the product, her amazing book, which I love because it's basically this is the proof, right? Science, thousands of medical journals and studies. So what we're going to be sharing tonight, we're not just blowing smoke, right? This is like real science, but it's proven, and so many nutritional experts are really talking about it. I feel like it's kind of on the down low, but I think it's starting to come out more and more about some of the misconceptions about our bodies, right? And how doctors have been really, really giving us some bad advice, to be honest, like all these years of,
Well, that's the reason why they call it practicing medicine. They're not calling it exact medicine. They're not calling spot on medicine. It's called practicing medicine, right? And
educational guessing.
And I was talking with a really good friend of mine who has been a holistic practitioner, and he's an expert in several modalities. And he doesn't even want to be referred to as a doctor now because he said Western medicine has put such a negative connotation on that term doctor, right? And he said, I don't even want to be called that anymore because there's been so much disservice done, and it just reflects in general into this community. Now, I believe you were telling me, correct me if I'm wrong, I think it was a couple of weeks ago, you were telling me that you guys, because you're in the health field and you're very, very active in the health field. Isn't there, I believe you said there was going to be like well over 100 plus hospitals shutting down in the next year or year and a half, 2 years in the United States? Is that really? Okay.
Yeah, it's scary.
I mean, what are they attributing that to?
Money. Unfortunately, hospitals are just giant corporations.
That's
and
right.
It's kind of scary that we'll have less and less access to good quality healthcare because we've been practicing the sick system for so long, and we're relying more and more on government, right, instead of private, and they're calling the shots. And so now it's these big corporations, right? The bigger the hospital, whatever it is, the more money. They're the ones staying open, and it's affecting rural communities the worst because their neighborhood hospitals, the small beds, they're the ones that can't keep open. And so people aren't going to have access unless you live in like a big city, which you're going to they're overcrowded, overrun, right? It's kind of a scary thing. I feel like we are shifting into more of a let's become healers in our home so that we don't have to necessarily rely on all of this, government run sick system. And at one
Mm-hmm.
point, I was in that position about 5-6 years ago. They were literally threatening to close our doors. And we're a nonprofit hospital, right? So again, these aren't just for-profit institutions. These are just these small hospitals that people love, because you get more of a community feeling. But again, it just has to do with the money and the dollars.
Isn't it interesting when you look at the history? Because I am a student of history. I love history. And when you look at the history of our modern medical system and how it originated at the turn of the 20th century, and how the Rockefellers at that time period, they were monetizing all these, like John Hopkins Medical University, all these research facilities, right? And they were actually putting lots of money into these medical universities to develop pharmaceuticals, because it was called like backwards philanthropy, if you will, where they would put the money up front, develop the drugs, and then they would own major stock in the
Mhm,
pharmaceutical companies that actually sprung forth out of these major medical research universities. And now we're seeing that implode, and we're seeing it starting to collapse because,
mhm,
you know, when you're operating in, we'll say darkness, right? We'll look at this in a spiritual level. When you're operating something in darkness, it cannot be sustained. Light comes in, light always wins. And
mhm,
what you just said just a few moments ago, where it's forcing people to start taking responsibility of their health care in their homes, in their communities. I had a great conversation with my friend, uh, Dr. Well, I can't, he doesn't want me to call him that,
mhm,
with my friend who is a holistic practitioner. And he likes me to keep his name private, so I will, out of respect for him because I love him dearly. But we had a great conversation yesterday, and I told him I have this vision, and what we're trying to do here in Great Minds by Design is I would like to have us create this place of safety and refuge, if you will, where people will be able to connect with individuals like him who have this amazing, with decades and decades of not just knowledge base that they've created, but proven track records of putting that knowledge base to use and helping to show people how to heal themselves in a holistic way.
mhm,
And I
mhm,
told them, I said, it's imperative that we take somebody like you and we're able to preserve your legacy of knowledge and create a resource to be able to have people that are now this next generation of, let's say, energy workers, holistic healers come up so they can have access to that knowledge base so it's not lost.
mhm.
And he's in agreement with that very much so. What do you think about something like that?
Most definitely. I mean, we're living in a day and age where we have the tools, we have the knowledge. Science is catching up, improving a lot of what we already had, which is, Mother Nature, right? It's just that we got disillusioned, I think, where we haven't really known any different, right? Our
Hmm.
grandparents, our great grandparents, what did they do when they got sick? Right?
Yep.
They they knew the herbs, right? They took
They
care
did
of
the
each
home
other within
remedy.
a
That's
community,
right.
right? The
Hmm.
doctors used to come to you instead of you coming to the institution,
Correct.
right? But we can get back to a lot of that, and I think people are ready for it. And I'm not like trying to down modern medicine because I definitely feel there's a time and a place, and obviously we're so grateful to have things that we didn't have before, but
Hmm.
we're just over abusing it. And going on to the topic of the pharmaceuticals, I remember during the pandemic, especially because my brother-in-law is a PharmD, so he's a pharmacist, and he would tell us that people couldn't get their medicines. They were running out. They couldn't get insulin. They couldn't get these heart medicines they needed, and people were dependent on that for
Hmm.
to live because you know they were kind of going through a really weird, supply demand issue, right? With all the restrictions and everything that were happening. So just think about that. When's the next time maybe your medicine's not going to be available,
correct. Yep.
Yeah. What are you going to do?
Yeah. Well, what are you gonna do? Exactly, and that's why it's great to start developing these skill sets that you can actually start taking care of yourself instead of just running to the doctors real quick because, you may have a sniffle or a cough or you have, something that you're not familiar with, you know? Um, I think a lot of things in regards to the supply chain of medicine, where we were talking about shortages, is by design in some ways. I think it's by design. Because prior to that, you don't hear those things till now after the pandemic and everything. I see this shift that's happening in the collective consciousness, not just here in our country, but around the world, that it really opened up a lot of people's minds about taking their healthcare much more seriously rather than for granted, like like they did, right?
Mhm.
And starting to look at these holistic alternatives. So, like you talk about, like tonight, I said, a couple days ago, I'm like, I think let's talk about toxins, right? Because
Mhm.
toxins is a huge, huge deal right now. And I'm going to be very candid with this audience here because you know this. Um, uh, I have a family member, a son. I'm just going to say it. I'm going to be very candid and transparent because I'm always this way. And something was thrown in our lap where our son decided to experiment with medical cannabis, marijuana. You know, in 18, it cracks me up. When you're 18, you can go get a medical marijuana card, but you got to be 21 to buy a lighter at
Mhm.
Walmart or cigarettes or alcohol, but you can be 18 and buy pot.
Yeah.
No problem. What legislature in the right mind thinks that's okay when you have an adolescent who's still developing their brain
Yeah.
until they're 21 or
Mhm.
22, right? It makes no
Mhm.
sense.
Mhm.
But anyways, he sadly had some negative experiences because he was using the vape pens with the cannabis, and he started developing psychosis and
Mhm.
other issues like that. And what we're finding out is there's a high probability that he'd been exposed to cytotoxins, mold, not just from the product itself, because now what we're understanding is that the cannabis industry, a lot of the plants that are ending up in these dispensaries are like hybrid plants. They're not
Mhm.
even pure plants anymore. And so they are perfect for cytotoxins being developed in it. And then when you're smoking them in a vape pen and you're sharing your vape pen with a friend, you're passing around these toxins and your saliva in these vape pens, and
Mhm.
they don't even know they're putting these things into their bodies. The next thing you know, and so a friend of ours, the one I'm referring to, that's a medical practitioner, he says this is actually becoming too common now with this younger group, that are vaping. And
Mhm.
he said cytotoxins is becoming a real, real problem here. And he said, sadly, a lot of these people are being misdiagnosed with schizophrenia because they have certain underlying issues of psychosis, which are markers of schizophrenia. And he says they're misdiagnosed. And if they need to be tested for these toxins in their body, once they find out that they have certain mold, then they can actually do, toxin release, right? They can actually start cleansing their body out when they find out what kind of toxins they're dealing with. And he says it takes up to 6 months to get those toxins out of your body, doing the proper detox programs to get those cytotoxins out of your body. I mean, I'm sure you being in the hospital, you've seen this quite a bit yourself as well.
Mm. Yeah, and unfortunately, it's becoming more and more prevalent, and these kids, like teenagers, like young kids, and you're
Mhm.
right about their brains not developing yet. It's gonna cause a lot of lifelong problems, but can't I guess, people think cannabis is an herb, right? It's a plant, but it has some very powerful side effects because again, we have to go through the digestive system and we have to like work it through our body. But it's the gateway drug, right? It's
Yes.
it's literally just a stepping stone for doing more and more things, right? Because you're going to build a tolerance to it. I have many friends that do use, and they tell me you have to take in more and more and more, and it's doing like lifelong damage to these kids' brains, their
Mhm.
lungs. their organs. It's
Mhm.
scary, but it's becoming so accepted. And yeah, it's going to be, there's going to be a lot of like toxins, like you said, that are just going to be in their system. It's going to be a chronic buildup. I don't even want to know, what's going to happen
Mhm.
to them in 10 years from now. And they're so young.
Yeah, well, when this was kind of, just dropped on our lap, and I went to my resources, which are friends that are holistic practitioners, asking them about this. And when I started doing my own research, just the generic research, like on, Google, Brave, whatever it is, and I just put in cytotoxins, cannabis, I cannot tell you how many website studies came up, pages and pages and pages, uh, from universities, both holistic practicing as well as traditional Western medicine research universities, who are saying this is becoming very prevalent because, again, these young people think that they're getting something that they're not actually getting. And like you said, the vape pen alone, there's a reason why the manufacturers, like the cigarette manufacturers and the vaping for that, they're warning these people because it's putting petroleum, it's putting plastics into their
Mhm,
lungs, and it's coating
mhm,
their lungs, and it's doing damage to their heart and their lungs, permanent damage.
mhm.
It's sad. It's so sad.
Yeah, it really is. And again, it's something that they're missing. These kids are just really struggling with the day and age that they're living in. And I wish they had access to good nutrition and the food
Yep.
they eat, the fast food. I think we talked about that a little bit last time, but they're just like putting nothing good in their bodies anymore. And it's causing a whole generation of soon to be adults who, we're going to see a rise in crime and so many different things and abuse. And because they can't make good clear decisions because they're like you said, their body is full of these toxins. They're affecting their neurons. And yeah, I know it's scary. Very
It is.
scary.
Well, here's another, on my main wall today on Telegram, I had posted some really quick research that I did for men because men's testosterone count, I'm talking about young men that are 21, 22 years of age who are getting their testosterone count, evaluated, and they have the testosterone level of a 67-year-old man. These
Mhm,
young men
mhm,
who should be vibrant in their life, right? And
mhm,
gung ho and full of,
mhm,
piss and vinegar
mhm,
and able to do things.
mhm.
And they have the testosterone count of a 67-year-old man now. And that
Yeah.
is due to the toxins that's in
Mhm,
their food, that's in the fast food nasty stuff in and of itself. And if they're doing these other recreational things,
mhm.
smoking, vaping,
Alcohol.
your energy drink,
Mhm,
alcohol. I mean, it's all, it's all about it. And then, of course,
mhm.
if you live in the city, you're drinking city water that's treated by the city plant that has chlorine and other chemicals in it. There, because now we're getting exposed to environmental toxins, right? Whether
Mhm.
it's in the air, whether it's in the ground, whether it's in the water, we're getting bombarded with these toxins.
Yeah.
So we have a couple products that actually can help with the toxins in people's body,
Oh, yeah.
and I would love for you to share and educate us a little bit about the products that we have that actually can help people with those toxins.
Yeah. Well, I think a lot of people are, thinking about more about detox, right? There's so many things out there on the market for detoxing, but your body is not meant to go through a harsh detox. That's actually really bad for you. And I don't know why so
Mhm,
many people promote these harsh detoxes because it's not going to do your body any good. And you're going to go through some terrible side effects and things like that. But a gentle, natural detox that makes sense to clean out the liver, right? Clean out the gallbladder, clean out the pancreas, the kidneys, the lymph system, like all the things that we're holding on to in our gut, right? So I bet you so many people don't even realize the things that are in their guts,
Mm.
parasites and
Mhm.
sludge, and just holding on to like so much that, our body should naturally get rid of itself. Uh, so, going back to the liver, right? Our liver can take a beating. It's the largest organ that we have, outside of our skin, and it's our filtration system. So every little bit of blood has to go through the liver. And when you're like, not taking in the right nutrition, or your food is tainted with chemicals and pesticides, and your water, right? Your water, all of it, it gets filtered and stuck in the liver. And people don't realize that your liver can regenerate quite well. It can take a beating and a beating and a beating and a beating, right? But then you're also putting in chemicals like medicines over the counter. People are over abusing everything until their liver can't take it anymore, right? And then it starts to
Mhm.
backfire on you, because maybe you're developing high cholesterol because the liver produces cholesterol. Maybe you're developing elevated liver enzymes. Your liver doesn't know what to do, so it's gonna back up all these toxins and stuff into the bile ducts, which is gonna cause inflammation of the gallbladder, gallstones. It put pressure on the pancreas, so now your pancreas can't produce insulin. Your pancreas can't produce digestive enzymes. But then again, your liver and all that filtration system also works with your gut, right? Because all of that all the stuff that it's trying to take off, either through blood, it also goes through our intestines, and it comes out that way, right? But then our guts are wrecked, because we don't have the healthy gut biomes, and all the
Mhm.
inflammation ends up in the intestines. So that's why we have so much problems with gasiness and bloating, and then it affects our mental state, right? Because have you ever felt like you ate something bad, right? And you feel like swollen the next day, right? Because it's like
Mhm.
inflammation running through your
Mhm.
body, right? Or you have brain fog, or
Mhm.
maybe you're experiencing some depression or anxiety. More than likely, it's because of your gut, right? Because they say most of your serotonin alone comes from the large intestine. And so, again, we're just killing ourselves with the foods and all the things that our liver and our guts trying to process. But there can be a better way if we can treat the gut and our livers, right, through a protocol that we've developed here at APL Go, which are super potent botanical blends, but they actually go direct to the cell without going through the whole digestive process, which is the problem. How do you treat the gut by going through the gut? It
You
makes no
can't.
sense. It you
Yeah.
know, it because our guts are wrecked. So again, it's a vicious cycle. But being able to treat it through nutrition at a cellular level, but even at a DNA level, right? That's where it gets so good, because your own DNA is telling you, please, please help me, right? Give me what I need to heal, repair, regenerate, right? But don't do like a harsh thing, but give me the nutrients every day that I need to help with my liver, my gallbladder, my pancreas, my large intestine, my small intestine. And that's what I love, because we actually have a detox kit with HPR, right? Heparin for our liver,
Mhm.
MLS, multispectrum to clean our gut biome, balance everything out, that we can take every single day, so that all of our body is working together, because the gut is the gateway to all organ systems. When you have inflammation, that's the gateway again to all disease processes, right? It just makes sense. That's why so many people are talking about detox and gut balancing, and we hear it from a lot of very smart nutritionists and holistic healers. They understand that people aren't going to heal at all the other levels until you take care of those more major organs first.
So isn't it correct that at least 80+% of your immune system is contributed to how healthy your gut system is, right? Your digestive system. You have the
Yeah.
3 systems, right? Your digestive system, immune system, and nervous system.
Yeah.
And if your digestive system is not in homeostasis, then
Mhm.
your immune system is not, and your nervous system is not. It's a
Yeah.
vicious cycle.
It is. It's the gateway, and I'm so glad you brought that up because that's why autoimmune disorders are on the rise. Is
Mm,
because it's our own body with the inflammation that's starting or to attack itself, right? And the same thing with nerves. People don't realize that by healing your gut, you're healing the nerves, the pathways of reception. And people think that it has to do something with cognitive or something like that. No, it really has to do with your gut more than anything.
wow. Wow. Well, so I know that the company itself is running a promo right now or a detox kit because they've created a detox kit with 2 products, the MLS and the HPR. And if you buy one, then they're gonna send you a second one free. So actually, even though you're paying for I guess, the first set, they're giving you a second set for free. So you're actually the only thing you're really paying for is shipping at the end of the day. Is that right?
Yeah, it's literally 4 boxes. It's 2 HPR, 2 MLS, so you can take one a day. So you can either have a 2-month supply for yourself or share one with somebody else, right? Because it is kind of a pay it forward system. And you're set for 4 boxes for $100. You really can't beat it. And you may go through some, I call them like detox symptoms. They're very slight, but it's actually a good thing because when you release toxins into your body, your bloodstream, your lymph system, you go through that candida die-off, you might get a
Yeah.
little headache. You might get a little nausea. That is actually a good sign. I know people freak out, but I'm like, that means it's working, right?
Mhm.
Just drink more water. Hydration, hydration, hydration. Flush, flush, flush. I'm telling you, within days, you're going to be like, oh my goodness, I feel amazing. Because people are holding on to so much toxins. But this is a really great deal, ML. I don't know why anyone wouldn't at least give it a try. Get a good month or 2 months supply. Um, and it's available for the entire week. So this is customers. If you've got prime customers who just want to get wholesale pricing, this is for anyone that's part of our APL Go family, new team members. And I don't know if we're ready for it, but I actually was going to share a little birthday promo with all of our
Yeah,
audience because I'm just feeling
go
that
right
this is
ahead.
so important. It's like so important. Everyone in my family, my kids are on the HPR MLS combo. Like I say, it doesn't matter. You're taking it every day. Even my dog gets HPR MLS. Because pets are our family too, right?
Mhm.
But I would love for us to grow more of our community here with Great Minds by Design and everything that we're doing. I would love to attract more people to our mission. So for this week as well, if you spend $100, whether that's on the detox kit or on something else, and you become a team member, part of our team, our family, or if you have a status already in the company and you want to upgrade, for every 100 you spend, I'm going to throw in a free box. Anything you want,
Wow.
right?
Wow,
I
that's really
love to,
nice.
yeah, I love to share the love. This is my birthday week. So let's make it too good to pass up because I think people need this right now.
Yes.
It is now the time.
So what I've done is shared a link so people can become an associate if they so choose, and just follow that link, or you can actually email Tina D'Angelo as well. Because I know Tina loves to answer questions. She's very, very, very knowledgeable, guys. Probably the most knowledgeable person that I know in this company outside of Mary Esther. I don't know anybody else that has the knowledge base that you guys have with your expertise behind that as well. So, you contact Tina. when you have these questions, because she actually can give you direction. She can actually give you some insight and give you some recommendations
Of
and
course.
protocols, that people are having. Because you know what's something that's really interesting? I am seeing so many people having renal failure. It's
Mhm.
insane the amount of uh, these centers that are popping up all over the place, and it's only happened since COVID and
Yeah.
the vax and the boosters. I'm starting to see these dialysis centers popping up everywhere, and I
Mhm.
mean, I am being bombarded with people who have family members and loved ones who are now in renal failure, and it's just like fluke things. And then when I ask them, did they take the jab?
Mhm.
Did they get boosters? 99.9% of the time, yes. And I'm
Yes, and
like,
you know what the
"Mm,
kidneys are directly related to? The heart.
yeah,
So,
oh,
you're looking at a rise in high blood pressure, heart disease,
mm,
because the kidneys if
mhm.
you put pressure on the kidneys, it's indirectly putting pressure on the heart. It's how it works, that homeostasis between the kidneys and our heart function. I don't think a lot of people realize that.
Wow. I didn't realize that. But I mean, it makes sense. It actually makes sense.
Mhm.
Wow. That is amazing. Well, there's also another type of, toxin. We talk about the physical toxins that we're being bombarded with, from our clothes, wearing petroleum-based clothing versus, 100% organic cotton, right? But
Mhm.
we also have spiritual toxins, if you will,
Mhm.
because, you know, we are, we're more than just a body, right? We are creatures, creations of energy, right? And we can actually be toxified through our own spirits, our own souls, if you will, our own minds become toxified as well, depending on our environment. The saying garbage in, garbage out,
Mhm.
right? So it also is that way for us in the ability to detoxify our souls and our spirits and our minds, because it's all inclusive. It's
Mhm.
all homeostasis, which is, balance, right?
Mhm.
Balance in everything. And so that's another thing I think people often don't think about is how do we, detoxify ourselves at the spiritual level?
Mhm.
Because we do all this amazing work on the physical level. We work out, we have these great diets, we take these amazing supplements that are direct to cell, but we're missing these other key components, which is the detoxification of, our spirits and our souls. Because if we're around people who have low energy, low light, it rubs off on us, you
Mhm.
know? Just
Oh,
going
yeah.
outside, simple things like
Mhm.
going outside barefoot, grounding for
Mhm.
15 minutes a day. It does an amazing recharge to a person's body.
Yeah.
Looking at the sun, being out sunbathing for a few
Yeah.
minutes a day, it does
Vitamin
the
D.
same thing. There's
Mhm.
vitamin D, exactly.
Mhm.
There's so much research that's been done on, sunscreen
Oh,
lotion.
yeah.
Oh,
Mhm.
we're told by
Lots
the
of chemicals.
marketing companies that's right. It blocks out the nutrient factors of the sun, helping to heal us as well. It's fascinating when you go back and look at the Superman shows. What did Superman do to get recharged for his energy and to detoxify? He flew up to the sun and got
Mhm.
recharged by the sun
Mhm.
because I mean, it's just I know that's an oversimplification, but it's so true. There's so much truth to the holistic approach on detoxing and over detoxing our bodies. And
Mhm.
um, there's a I created this prayer, and it's connecting to our um, our higher I am presence. When we engage, whether it's prayers, mantras, meditations, you know, it really does help heal, because if we're healing our spirit, detoxifying our spirit and our soul, then our bodies fall in line with that too, as well. I don't think I've ever come across anybody, Tina, that, if they're serious about their health, their
Mhm.
overall health,
Mhm.
If they only focus on the physical aspect of themselves and they leave out all the other stuff,
Yeah.
and then they always say, "Well, I'm still not feeling good. I'm still not feeling good." Well, that's because you only took a partial approach to your overall health and
Yeah.
wellness, you know? I mean, you're in the holistic field as well. I mean, I know you deal with a lot of holistic practitioners, and I'm
Mhm.
sure they're big prescribers when it comes to this too. What do you think?
Oh, yeah, it's all about, rest, meditation, right? Meditation, just calming the brain. Also, with energy, of course, like you said, the crystals, the plants, the soils, but just, um, not being in polluted areas for one thing,
Mhm,
right? Because the
mhm.
positive ions are killing us, right? It's just unfortunate when you live in a city, sometimes it's hard to get away from. But taking that 5 minutes, I don't care if it's prayer, if it's meditation, right? Finding the community, finding people that you can share like-mindedness with, that feeds your soul. That releases maybe negativity, releases feelings or thoughts that we know can, especially if you're an overthinker, right? Like myself, I
Mhm.
overthink. You can self-sabotage yourself very easily. Yes, CB said self-care. Self-care is very important. And like you said, these holistic healers and practitioners, they're bringing a lot of this in. That's why a lot of them have like I don't know what they're called. They're kind of like meditation rooms, right? Where they bring you into an
Yep,
area where you can kind of release the pressures, the stresses of the world, the things you just want to leave behind, so that when you
mhm.
go and have a consultation with them, you're open-minded, you're clear,
Correct.
you're going to be receptive to what they're telling you. Have you ever been someplace where you and the doctor, whoever, just didn't see eye to eye at all, right? You're getting like a bad vibe. Like neither one of you are listening to each other. You don't feel that connection. And when you have somebody that's trying to help you, you need to feel that connection. You need to feel their
Yes,
trust, their
that's
empathy.
right.
Yeah, you don't get that from a lot of the traditional doctors, but you will get that more from, like you said, the holistic practitioners. They're really trying to bring that whole circle of health and wellness together. Just it makes sense.
It does. Well, I have a great example of that. So this last week, uh, those individuals that are close to me and my other channels, I've told them about my mama. She needed to have a full hysterectomy because she was diagnosed a few weeks ago with this really rare but aggressive advanced form of ovarian cancer. And so she had the procedure, you know, last week or 2 Mondays ago, I should say, and she had her follow-up this past Tuesday with her surgeon, and he is like a world-renowned surgeon out of St. Louis and highly respected and regarded in his field. And when she went there, he did the test, everything came back, she's golden, and he said, and she wanted to know, "Well, so what is your philosophy on my aftercare? What is my next step?" Because she's big into spiritual and holistic approaches. So she wanted to see what he had to say. He said, "Well," he said, "your particular type of ovarian cancer is generally only found in two markers. Either African American women tend to get
Mhm,
this, or somebody with overexposure to radiation, which she is neither one." And he
mhm,
said, "So generally, if you're of one of those two markers that contract this type of cancer," he said, "then I would tell you you should get at least 6 rounds of chemotherapy to
mhm,
follow itself, right?" He
mhm,
says, "Generally, you have a 30 to 50% chance of it returning within 1 to 3 years' time. But because we don't know why you got it because you don't fill in the other two markers at all." He said, "I don't know if that really is applicable to your situation now either." And so my mama said, "Well, wait a second. So I just went through this life altering surgery, the biggest
mhm.
surgery I've ever had in my life. And so my body's been put through trauma. And now you're telling me to get 6 rounds of chemotherapy because that's your
Yeah.
standard procedure?" She goes, I think I'm going to let my body heal from the surgery for a little bit. Then I'm going to take a holistic approach and go that route instead of putting poison in my body.
Good for her. Good for her.
Yeah.
It's chemo can, it
Yeah.
basically kills off the healthy good cells that you need for healing and repairing, right? Like you said, it doesn't make a lot of sense.
And I know people who've had procedures, and it takes sometimes years for your body to fully recover from that procedure, because you think of this in this way. So we have all these organs and tissues in our body, and if something is removed, then a piece of us is removed, and it's connected to our soul and our spirit. And so we have to heal from that. And if we have that piece of light removed from us, we need to replace that light somehow. And the only way you can actually increase that light is by increasing your frequency, by doing what we call this inner work, which is what you name some of the things that you can do nowadays. And this is why I'm seeing a huge increase in these divine souls who are discovering that they are these amazing gifted light workers who are helping people to heal. They're able to do all sorts of different amazing things for that healing itself. And there's so many different holistic modalities, probably more than even in the traditional medicine itself too, so there's so many options available for us from a holistic standpoint nowadays.
Yeah, and those people definitely have special skills. They're just, like you said, they're vibrating at a higher frequency. Yeah, it's definitely needed in so many ways, is to have, like you said, these healers in our home, healers with nutrition, healers with people, practitioners, healers within our own mental, our mindset, right? It's hard, if you go on social media and you're watching TV and you're watching the news, right? It's all affecting like this. And we just have to remember that at the end of the day, we just, we got to calm our brains, our bodies down and be receptive, because if you're not receptive, then what's going to happen?
Yep, that's right. That's exactly right. I was introduced to a product about a month ago from my friend that's a practitioner, and it's a ceremonial cacao. Have you ever heard of the ceremonial cacao drink?
No. Sounds interesting.
Okay. It is. We tried it. He actually gifted us a bag of it to try it. And so the Mayas and the Aztecs created this ceremonial drink straight from cacao, the cacao beans plant, right?
Yeah,
And of
so
course, they
that's
would
like
add,
similar to coffee, that's similar to the coffee bean, correct?
yeah, correct, exactly. Just straight cocoa is what pure cocoa. But in the ceremonial drink, sometimes they would add like ashwagandha or maca root or things like that that really have amazing healing properties to it itself. And so he was telling us that he started put this in his practice, and he started introducing this to certain patients because it really helps. Like if your brain is only functioning on like 2 or 3 cylinders and you want it operating at 6 or 8 cylinders, it will supercharge your brain and get rid of all that fogginess. But it actually has other holistic healing properties to it with your blood, your heart, and things like that too. And so we drank that, and I'm telling you what, it was incredible because it does provide this energy and stamina, but it really does get rid of the fogginess, the mental fogginess, especially if you have a lot of stress in your life. Stress really does, especially when you're releasing all that cortisol stress hormone into you, it really plays with your brain and stuff. And this actually helps level you out and sustains you throughout the day itself. And so I'm going to play this video because
el trabajo que está.
Let's do this. Let me.
El trabajo que estamos realizando es la reivindicación del sagrado cacao como tal, porque sabemos que nosotros como seres humanos necesitamos fortalecer esa parte, espiritual. De lo contrario, la humanidad está condenado a su destrucción y existe la necesidad urgente de fortalecer nuestro espíritu, de poder crear nuevamente la relación simbiótica entre madre e hijos e hijas que somos de ella. Y solo a través del sagrado cacao podemos recuperar esa humanidad que se ha perdido.
So that was just a brief video, but this company, Aura, they never really broke this down with all these other health factors. And so my friend, the practitioner, he's really broke this down. And I think he's going to be a guest of ours here in a couple of weeks. And he's going to come on and talk about the cacao, ceremonial cacao, and what it does for our bodies, our heart, our blood, everything else like that. And so I just wanted people to see what this is about, because every person I've introduced this to over the last, let's say, month, they've all had amazing results with this themselves, because it actually has tons of antioxidants in it, and other health things that actually really make them feel charged up, instead of these energy drinks. It's a great alternative for people who are taking these energy shots and drinks. They don't need that with this type of stuff.
Yeah,
right?
quick fix, right? Yeah.
Mm-hmm. It fries your nervous system. These energy talks about toxins, these energy drinks like that. It fries your nervous system and stuff like that too, not to mention all the crazy chemicals that are put into those things itself.
You feel like a hangover, right? When you come down off of those chemicals. It's like, that's why people keep living on them, because they want to feel that same way over and over and over. So yeah.
It's a false rush for your endorphins, and it makes you feel good for just a few moments, and then you start crashing, and then you feel sluggish, and you're wondering, why isn't it working anymore? So you start upping it, right, and taking more and more and more all the time, like with anything else. Wow. So, let's see here. What I'd like to do is I just want to share with our audience, a little bit, because we've got about 10 minutes left in our show here. And I just want to reiterate to everybody that what we're trying to do and create here with Great Minds by Design is we're trying to approach this holistic way, not just with our health, but like with 5D abundance and wealth consciousness is what we call it. There's this new shift in consciousness, and we're all getting to participate in it, if we choose to, of course. But it's all connected. And what we're seeing is this need and desire to heal a spiritual way, which is tied into our physical health way. It's all inclusive. And so what we're trying to do is create this space where people can come to and get access to these resources that we're creating here for them, and tools to be able to do different things in their life. If somebody wants to be an entrepreneur, we're going to be able to provide them certain tools and resources to become an entrepreneur along with us. If somebody is, and that's why I'm trying to work with some holistic practitioners, some light workers, energy workers, because I'm trying to bring these individuals in to interact with our audience members who may need something from them. Like, I have this amazing friend of mine named Ellen Red, and she's an amazing light worker who I've already heard from numerous people that I've introduced her to over the last few months who've had some amazing healing sessions with her. And they've discovered some amazing truths about themselves in order to heal and move forward in their lives. Because let's face it, we all have blocks. in our lives, right? We call them toxic blocks, whether it's our relationships, whether it's the data we put in our head, the electromagnetic frequencies that we're being bombarded with. We're just being bombarded constantly with different types of toxins, no matter what.
Yeah.
So having a place where you have resources on how to detoxify your body, your mind, your soul, and your spirit, that's what we're trying to create here. And so I'm looking really forward to what we're going to be creating in the future, because our world is looking amazing. It doesn't matter what people think. It may look bleak for a lot of people, but it's not. It's just, I call it's a formality, Tina. We're going through a formality right now. We know how the story ends. We've won this, and we're just going through the formalities. It's a little painful, but it's necessary nonetheless, right? And it's how we endure through what we're going through right now. You know, I've had people talking to me, and I don't know if you've witnessed this yourself, but people are like on information overload right now. So let's call it toxin overload, right? And they're shutting down. They're not sure whether to go left, right, up, down, inside, outside, because they've relied on certain information up to this point, and that they've invested themselves emotionally into certain information and truths. Now they're finding out those truths and information aren't what they thought it was to be. So now they're confused, and now they got anger, you know, all these different range of emotions. And that's what we want to do, is help guide people in those processes to get them through that, so they can become the best person that God intended on them becoming itself.
Yes.
You know,
yes. That's all we want, is just be the best version of yourself.
Yes, absolutely. Absolutely. All right. So at the beginning of our show, our divine Tina here offered generously, or I'm offering it. I'm offering a box of PFT. Today is Tina's birthday. And so if anybody is listening, if you can guess her age that she turned today or closest to it, I'm going to send that person a box of PFT. Now, you know, if I've got multiple people that got the right answer, well, it'll be the first person who made the correct answer itself. So I said we would give you guys till the end of the show to do that. And then whoever is selected as the winner, just send one of my moderators or email me. Let me put my email address up there. So this way, email me your address so I can actually send you a box of our PFT itself. Okay.
Thank you for all of the people who guessed under my age.
Well, that's good.
Somebody said 25, but I think they were throwing me a bone. So.
Oh my goodness. So next week, you're not going to be here because you're going to be in Cancun on a cruise, basking in the sun. Is that correct?
Yeah, we have a bunch of us in EPL Go. We come together as leaders, and we kind of do an R&R, but hopefully we'll come up with some more amazing things to improve the company, right? Improve our websites, improve our customer experience. It's all about like the field and what you guys need and what you want. And so I'm kind of an advocate in a way for everyone, right? Because you don't want like one or two people just making all the decisions. So I'll be down there in Cancun for the next, almost the next week. You know, enjoying myself. That's when I'll probably celebrate my birthday, honestly.
Well, that'd be a great place to celebrate it. You know, I mean, you get more bang for your buck down there. So if you're going to throw a party, you know, and have a big birthday party, that would be the place to definitely do it at, I would imagine. Yeah. Okay. So, Tina, we've got some entries here. So, what is
somebody got it right?
Did somebody get it right? Who got it right?
I'm scrolling through the comments. I think it was Liz Hernandez.
Oh, great. Okay.
She is the winner.
Congratulations.
I'm 48, so.
Oh, wow. Well, happy birthday again. So Liz Hernandez, send me, let me show you my email address one more time. So if you'll email me, no, I had it up, my bad. if you'll email me your address, I'll get that sent out to you in the next day or two. All right. So congratulations, Liz Hernandez. I appreciate that very much as well. Also, again, if you want to reach out to Tina, here's her email address.
Yeah.
So you can reach
I'm
out
more
to
than
Tina.
happy
Yeah.
Yeah, make
Yep.
recommendations. You guys have me, so use me. And of course, help you in any way. It doesn't have to be a product sell. That's not what we're here for, but just some good solid advice and recommendations is always available. Yeah.
Absolutely. Wow. Well, like I said, I'm looking forward to what we have in store here. I know we have a product that is being worked on that has got multi-functions to it that is, I'm hoping that will be released to us here, within the next, let's say 6-7 months or something like that.
Mhm.
Because it's a game changer when
It
we're
is.
talking about quantum health, right? And that's, I know this is a term that people are using right now, quantum this, quantum that, but when you actually have a product that is at the quantum level helping individuals, and then you also have the science backing that too, we can make those type of claims in and of itself. So anyways, well, is there any wise words you'd like to impart with us before we cast off here?
I would just say to just go back to the gut and the liver detox and just really thinking about it. If it's something that maybe you've struggled on or you don't have a good product, I love to bring the probiotics into it. Of course, probiotics, natural sources come from fermented foods, right? Or sauerkraut, kimchi, yogurts. And then if you're going to get it in pill form, just make sure it's a high quality probiotic. They don't normally come from nature, but we have a product, the HPR and MLS, that if you take it every day, like it's not a one-time detox. Like I have to say, there's so much hype around these one-time detox. You should be detoxing every single day. And I think that's what we have here is you're going to feel the results. It's going to improve your overall organ system, your metabolic reset, right? But you can't cheat health. I know people want to, but you can't cheat health. And when you're taking care of your liver and your gut, your all your other organs are going to follow in suit, right? It's just a synergistic effect. So really just consider the cell we have with the HPR and the MLS. You really can't beat it. $100, right? You can go out to dinner. You can go to the fast food place for $100, right? With a family of 4. It's like no lie. So take care of your organs first, and spend that little extra TLC in those areas. You'll be so much better for it.
So how many prebiotics is in the MLS?
20.
20.
20.
Wow.
They're all natural prebiotics. It's how the gut balances itself. But again, we're talking about nanoparticle DNA form that matches your own cellular DNA. So you really can't beat it. But if you're taking a probiotic, they're completely useless without the gut biome being balanced and receptive, because the pre is like the soil, right? And with the seeds, and then the pro comes in and kind of feeds off of that. That's why they work really well together. But a lot of people take probiotics not thinking that their guts aren't receptive. Again, it's just wasted time, money, educating people about these different things that we have available and wanting to get people the best results, the quickest results, the best results, and then also not wasting money. Because I get it. Like if I'm going to spend money, I want it to work. Like I want it to go to what my body needs instead of going down the toilet or just thinking that we're being, proactive.
Yeah. Well, thank you. Well, thank you for being here again tonight. I appreciate that. I appreciate all your valuable insight and information. And Divine Ones, we'll catch you guys next week. Have a most glorious and blessed filled rest of your week because you guys deserve it. Thank you.